24, and it's I believe it's just this particular scene right here. So this was when Kobe had changed his jersey number from 8 to 24, and this was pretty much how I kind of came up with the concept of it. Was what type of player was Kobe? What was he like? What was his attitude at this time? And this was after Shaq was traded and a lot of other things were going on. People didn't think he could win by himself. So he reinvented himself a little bit in his game, and I think this kind of reflects off that. So I'll let you hear this, and then I'll jump a little bit into how this was created.
Lakers lead by 4. Yes, they will. The Lakers look for the trip. Over Rodriguez with space. Third triple.
Don't forget how good he is.
And on the ball away, Vikings the lead for the Lakers, 60-59. You call that shot clock issues inside the arc. Yes! 76-74. Now, more runs after. Kobe the lead. Creates the play. Finding Kobe beyond the arc. And again, comes through with it.
Kobe just comes down to you. See Bryant, nice job. Tip it to him
just a little bit more here.
Kobe Bryant from the baseline. Kobe Bryant looks to drive to the baseline.
Okay, so real quick, this entire project was actually done in Final Cut, which is here. Final Cut is a process, so I'm not going to open it up for purposes of video. I will continue using this. So I will take out the audio here just so you can kind of see the video without it. I mean, it was obviously pretty bland. Even with the commentators, the background commentators, that was a decision I had to make last minute as to whether or not that was something I wanted in it. I think it adds a little bit more to the context by having that, but yeah, so balancing that out, that was another nice thing with Final Cut, was that I was able to edit some sound a little bit to keep things from peaking too high or too low. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So what I'll do is I'll add, maybe I want to kick up the, clean up the kick in it. You hear how that sounds? You can mess around, lower it, higher it, but just gives you a different sound. If I wanted to punch it up and make it a bit more bassier, I could go into this one. I like this bass boost. So you get more of a cinematic feel with that one. Sometimes you might see different channel strips, so I'll show you. This one's pretty basic because it's already done. This is only one channel strip right here for all of this. I don't get crazy with it. Sometimes you might see, you know, for instance, if I duplicate this, you might see another channel strip that I'll have. So this has an EQ on it. This one may have an EQ on it, and instead of bass boost, maybe this one is horns. So you might have a couple of different things to tweak with. I'll give you an idea how that sounds. Since I know it's bass heavy with the drums and it's horn heavy, this might be a little bit much, obviously because of volume, but having a good compressor helps with that. So having the compressors on to make sure that that volume has some sort of parameter to not go above. So here we go. So it's still a little loud. You can look at these meter readings here. If these hit in the red, it means you're peaking pretty hard. So not that it's the end of the world, depending on, again, the type of sound you're looking for, but not recommended. So what I'm going to do here is, I was just talking about the compressor and how that helps the sound. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually go to my compressor under Dynamics. And this channel strip itself controls these two channels as well. This is the main master stereo out. Here's the master sound here, but the stereo out one, this is the one that I want to put my main compressor on because it's going to translate over to those other channel strips, and then the master sound should display it. So I like this tool here in Logic because what it does is it gives me a couple different things: compressor tools, compressor type. I like to use the orchestral one. There is a Platinum Orchestral right here. I like this one when I'm using orchestral sounds. So this one I'll just... You see my meters here, it keeps that low. You see this main one now is no longer peaking at the red. And I get a fuller sound. Okay, so I've got a little bit there now. I'm going to jump back over to iMovie here. Okay, got my clip here. So again, let me move this over.
It's 2 for 2. Lakers lead by 4.
So I'm going to turn that down. We've got what we need music-wise over here. And now we should be ready to go. So we've got that. We've got our video. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this, or at least I'm going to copy it. A couple things, depending on how much editing you really want to do. You could do regions, track in place, you could share, you could send it right to the music. I'll make it quick. I'll just do Kobe test video, and I'll send it to myself. And then this will pop up in my iTunes, and we'll go through that lovely process. So as this loads, I don't really need to have Logic open at this moment. I can always use this to go back and do edits and things like that if I need to. But again, this project's pretty much already been done. So there's not a whole lot to go back in through and do, but I do want to get this track now that it's done. And I know you can't see my other screen, so let me pull this over. Alright, so my Kobe test video. Here is the audio for that. I'm just going to drop that right here. And this is where it gets fun. When you start doing editing or you start getting into video type stuff, you can start playing around with a lot of different features. This track, this entire track I should say, should encompass the length of this video. As you see, it kind of trails off here, which I know is probably the end of this. Let's see, depending on where I started it at. So here we go. So what I'll do is I'll leave this out without the commentating stuff on. And this is the one we just did. Give a little bit of other audio here.
Kobe just comes down to you. See Bright, nice job. Tip it to himself. Kobe Bryant from the baseline. He is still out. Bryant. Kobe Bryant looks to drive to the baseline. Tough shot, but he gets it to roll. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant on the forward drive.
Kobe Bryant again, his fadeaway.
Alright, just messing around with the other sound there, but so there's an idea. As we get towards the end of this, now what I did originally with this was I knew I was getting towards the end of this track. I wanted to keep it, so I actually looped it. You can see a little bit of the change in the audio wave here, and this is actually where it got looped at. So here's how it sounded, just so you know, and it kind of made it as seamless as possible. But
Tough ball away.
right where those drum hits, I just looped it over again, and it really just went back
Tough
to
ball away. There you go again. Amazing. And Kobe on the finger roll, and they've got him underneath. The dish, Kobe underneath, reverses it home.
Now, a couple of these are important because anybody can sit and watch highlights all day. Anybody can sit and watch basketball, go to YouTube, do whatever they want to get the same thing. When you're composing or you're trying to build a story out of this, you really have to kind of go through a timeline of information. So as you see here, I actually put the dates and things up here to kind of show some of the highlights and the historical moments of his career, along with what I was doing with the music. So here, we still have the same theme, the same music that's going, but certain elements of that beat, certain parts that were maybe taken out, or certain drum fills I removed purposely to highlight something specific that happens here. So here's one example of that, and you can kind of hear it along with what happens, in the video.
Now trapped. First time the Hornets have done that. Doesn't help. This time Butler's on it. Doesn't deny him. And Kobe a little closer in that time for his 21st point of the night. You think it's going up? Kobe rises over Devin Brown and now has 27.
You see, I really just made sure to pull as much audio out to hear that commentating, and then I bring the drums back in.
Point of the night. Hornets with a 12-point third quarter. Kobe with 40.
Here we go. Here's another one.
48. Kobe has 50. He's done it. 4 straight games, 50 or more points. Only the second player.
Here's another one where I stripped that audio just a little bit.
Spacing. Too strong. And the loose ball.
And then here, bring those horns back in lightly.
Kobe showing a little bit of the young Kobe. Pop off, Kobe. Pop a little bit.
Bring it back down.
Kobe. Go to the line. Look for the three-point play. Bryant calling for the
Here's
ball.
another one.
On him. Bryant falling away. Puts it up. Puts it in.
And then made sure that drum hit right when he dropped that ball. Right when that ball goes through, you got to hit the drum hit.
Bryant falling away. Puts it up. Puts it in.
That had to be so perfect, so spot on.
It's Kobe Bryant over Battier.
And then I love this right here.
Kobe over Battier.
Kobe 4 points on 2 shots.
Bryant by Yao. Bryant in his game visits. Lakers have started 7-9. Battier watches Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has started this game 4-5 with the start. Screen by Gasol. This is over both.
Can't stop that.
Battier, Pau Gasol.
Now the flutes that I added in there.
5 of 6. Battier meets a 3.
The woodwind instruments was a fun take on this too.
Beginning for Kobe Bryant with 13 points in the first 8 minutes of this game.
And see, that's really what it's about. It's taking the fun stuff, being able to figure out which ways you can tell a story without even really looking at the video behind it. My thing was always that the visual should complement the audio. The music itself should really be the standard, and then everything else should just complement it. Because if it doesn't have music, you don't know what you're really watching, or at least you don't understand how to always react to what you're watching. Sports highlights are a good thing because there's so much emotion that goes on already. It's excitement, there's sorrow, there's all sorts of stuff. So even when I get into the later stuff, in Kobe's career, his injury, the retirement, stuff like that, you can hear kind of a difference in music. I'll give you a quick example as I kind of scroll through here. The guys had a career, about 2 of them, but here's one where his last, I think this was his Achilles injury here.
Kobe, guarded by the rookie Harrison Barnes. Kobe one-on-one, isolated for the tie. He's got it. It's 107 all.
So you can kind of hear how the music is already slowly slowly starting to get a little less energetic.
From their reserves. Bryant again
And then it's
going
out
to work,
completely
falls
here.
down.
You hear this low growl now.
He's going to stay down there for a bit.
Time to massage that left ankle a little bit.
Harrison Barnes picks up the foul, and he is hurting. But the Lakers down by 2. And
I think you'll slowly hear the low thing part come back in, just very lightly.
Got it.
Yeah, not backpedaling or whatever you have to do to get to the other end.
Like, he's not done yet. Guy that can walk to the free throw line on a torn Achilles by on his own strength. It's amazing.
They might foul to get him out of the game.
They have to.
Yeah. Kobe's coming back.
So I really wanted to put something that just gave that strength that, you know, Kobe's a tough dude.
Real patient.
And he's gonna, I would assume he'd go straight to the locker room.
And then as you kind of get later on into it, towards the end of the film, you know, you go through his last game. It's a little more jazzed up again.
For 3.
Same here. His retirement ceremony. We just kept like I wanted to make sure it was just a really good, emotional farewell type of thing, but not, you know, not over the top. A bit of all his career accomplishments after leaving basketball, short as they were. Academy Award stuff. So this was fun. This was a fun project to do. These were his last moments, but I didn't want to make it some sad, miserable thing. This was a remembrance. This was a guy that changed the entire game of basketball.
He just trying to dunk on me. He gonna lay it up at the end. He just trying to dunk on me, Craig.
You just want to make it fun. You want to make it lighthearted, and you know that's really what I focused on. And then kind of fading out here at the end. Putting that last tweet up there from Kobe, giving props to LeBron. And then we go right into end credits here.
People feel Kobe Bryant is the favorite. 18 years old.
So
6'6".
this is a little bit about, you know, what I do, how some of this stuff comes comes together at the end of the day. I don't know how I come up with a lot of these ideas, but a couple more videos, a couple more things. I'd love to show you guys some more around the MIDI process, taking those digital instruments and converting them into beats and orchestral sounds, all sorts of different stuff. So later on, I'll show you a couple more of those videos, and we'll even look at some more stuff in Final Cut, and I'll show you some things that I'm editing around some of the compositions that I've done. But I really want to show you guys just like a start to finish. But thanks for sticking through my lovely 22 minutes here.